This is the Vanguard podcast. I'm Gavin, and we've just been joined by Christian Smalls, a former Amazon worker who let a worker walk out of the facility that he worked at in Staten Island, New York, in protest of their COVID protocol and general disregard for worker safety in the time of coronavirus. How's it going, Christian?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you recently said at the People's Convention, which I was watching and really enjoyed your speech at, you said that working for Jeff Bezos was essentially the worst decision in your life, but the decision to strike against Amazon was the best. Just to get us started, would you mind telling us a little bit about the story of what happened at the Amazon facility you worked at? What led to your decision to strike and how the situation was ultimately handled so terribly by the man himself, Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to give everybody a backstory, I started with the company back in 2015 as entry level, making $12.75, worked my tail off, got promoted into a process assistant, which is like a supervisor position role. Pre-COVID, I was already done with the company mentally. I've been there for a number of years. I realized the systemic racism when it came to the management and getting promotions, as far as the disproportionate of Black people getting promoted up. They weren't trying to do that with me, so I was already one foot out the door, so to speak. So when COVID-19 came into play, it was a no-brainer for me to actually take a stance against the company because, these people that I work with in my department, they're like my extended family. I spend 40, 50, sometimes 60 hours a week with them. No way I couldn't sit back and do nothing while they go to work and contract this deadly virus. So in March, I took this stance when the company told me not to tell my employees that somebody possibly tested positive. I couldn't stand with that. I took further action. On March 30th, I held the protest outside my building, JFK, Staten Island. And 2 hours later, I was terminated. It brought me pretty much here where I'm at today with this platform, uplifting voices from workers from all over the country, not just the country, but all over the world that work for Amazon. And together, we're just continuing to fight. We're trying to get our demands met, our voices heard, and we're going directly at Jeff Bezos. We're starting all the way at the top.
And what is exactly your goal? Is it to earn Amazon workers like a higher wage, or to dismantle Amazon as like the increasing monopoly that it is? Like, what's the ultimate goal with your activism?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we want to take care of the employees first. What I'm trying to do is something employee-driven, where they'll have something like a union, unionized structure where they'll be able to negotiate their contract. Workers deserve to have hazard pay right now. The pandemic is not over. They already took that away from them. They deserve to have child care. There's a lot of single parents like myself that didn't have any child care for our children. The company can provide that. They open 24/7. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to provide some type of daycare service. Medicare, that's something that all citizens of America should have, but workers that work for these billionaires like Jeff Bezos, for sure, Medicare, free Medicare. And our demands just continue to grow. There's so many of them. Also the families who lost somebody that worked at the company during these times, they need to be compensated for. It's a shame that the company failed to provide protection. I spoke up about that, not only just me, but other workers. They refused to listen to us. As a result, people have died. And all they say is, our thoughts are with you. It's not enough.
Right. Yeah, one of my favorite Twitter accounts actually is has Jeff Bezos ended world hunger today? And every day it tweets out, no, he has not. Because of his insane, vast amount of money. And it's just insane that, not only does he have enough money to literally end world hunger, but he also has enough money to properly treat his employees at, Amazon and Whole Foods, all of his burgeoning empires. He has more than enough wealth and resources to make sure that these human beings are, treated decently, protected from the coronavirus and their families. I mean, you said you're a father. I can't imagine you'd want to be bringing home a deadly virus into your home with your family in it. It's absolutely outrageous that this is going on, not just at Amazon, of course, but capitalist organizations, and the owner class has really just used this whole opportunity to basically further the exploitation of the lower class. And it seems like, yeah, COVID has really just laid bare the glaring inequalities presented by American capitalism. In case anyone hadn't already realized said inequalities, I think it's pretty undeniable now. And of course, among those inequalities is, of course, the inherent racism in our society, which you've spoken a lot about. You said that you experienced that at Amazon before even COVID started with, you failed to be promoted even though you've been there for so long. Can you speak just a little bit more about your experiences as a Black man from Staten Island and about the oppressive nature of corporate capitalism in your community?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's another topic. It's just like, it's we praise Amazon for providing jobs in our communities, and we think that it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But if you look at the whole picture, the bigger picture, it's really not. They raise the property value when they set up shop in your neighborhood. They don't provide any type of public housing. They're bringing in people from outside to come work for them. They do hire from the urban areas, and it's a high turnover company. So if you're hiring from the urban areas, you give people chances, but you take it right back. Hire and fire. That's what they do. It's a high turnover company. And as a Black man, you got to work twice as hard to even get noticed in there. And then on top of that, when you get to a good position like a PA, something that I was, you have to work 10 times as hard to get promoted to a manager, a salaried manager. Just think about it. Y'all know me now. 6 months later, I'm still fighting against the company. You can imagine how hard it must have been with my personality and my attitude, and the fact that I speak up for my workers.
Yeah.
Me on the manager level, we will always be clashing heads, and we would never see eye to eye. I didn't fit that culture. They want a culture where you do what you're told and that's it. Especially if you're white, they promote you as long as you stay in line. With us, with Black people, we had to stay in line. We have to change who we are as people, pretty much adapt to their culture. And if you do not do that, you will be hindered. You will be held back. I applied for the manager position within my 4 years over 45 times, and only had 2 interviews. I've seen people come in, my white counterparts, that come in and get promoted right over me in less than 6 months. So that right there was very alarming to me. Discouraging, disgusting, actually. The fact that I put so much hard work, blood, sweat, and tears into the company, and all I'm asking for is just to be treated equally, and I never had that opportunity. So once again, it made it easier for me to step away from the company, take further action, and now continue to advocate against the company because our demands are not met. And I know there's other people in my position that feel the same way, that just scared to speak up. Yeah. So I'm fighting for them as well.
Yeah. On a consumer level, I think a lot of people are really disturbed by, the increasing consolidation they see happening with Amazon and with the Bezos empire. And they, they definitely don't approve of the worker conditions or all this stuff. But there is this increasing sense, especially with the coronavirus, that people are going to shop on Amazon because they don't want to go outside, or just because it's increasingly so convenient. How would you urge consumers to change their habits of purchasing? And how would you urge them to, make sure that their hard-earned money is going back into, their own local communities rather than just into the pockets of this man who's, now past the $200 billion threshold or something?
Absolutely. Yeah. I urge consumers to, just think that this company is fairly new still. It's been around for 26, 27 years. And, we always didn't have Amazon. It always wasn't no one-click buy. We got to result back to our old society sometimes. Go to your local mom and pop stores, go to your local grocery stores, support them. Those are the ones that are being put out of business by these juggernaut companies like Amazon. Support the local post office, things like that. Your local community stores are still here. The few that are still open, we want to make sure we support them, keep them afloat. Amazon started this delivery service maybe a decade ago, and we forgot that we didn't always have this luxury, and that's the thing. We're adapting to the 21st century, and instead of adapting, we should be trying to bring back what we always had, which is right in front of us. Our small businesses, mom and pop stores, Black-owned businesses. There's a lot of them out there. You just have to do your homework in your community and support them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just think because it's one click buy that is you're doing a good deed, because you're not. You're putting workers at risk. You're putting yourself at risk. And on top of that, you're supporting a man that definitely doesn't care about your community, his workers, or anything that doesn't have to do with resulting in bringing dollars into his pockets and meeting his demands as a billionaire. This man makes $4,000 a second, and half the country's unemployed right now. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to contribute to that? It just doesn't make sense. So as a consumer, I'm always asking, boycott, cancel your Prime. Until the company does right by its workers, don't do right by the company.
And yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And I think that it's something that's a little bit, that's not spoken about enough, what consumers can do just with voting with their dollar, essentially. I mean, obviously alongside activism, one thing that anyone can do is just not support these companies. And I mean, supply and demand. I'm in Kansas City, and we were actually the first city in America that a Starbucks had to close up shop and leave town because no one came to it. It was across the street from a locally owned coffee shop that had been a beloved institution for years. And they tried to put a Starbucks right across the street. Well, it had to leave in less than a couple of years because it wasn't getting any business. I mean, these are still businesses, and they still do need money to survive. So if they're not getting income and revenue, then they are going to shut down. And I think that's an underrated, tool when it comes to just your average consumer for fighting back against these things. So thank you for speaking about that. Another thing what was that, sir?
Absolutely.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to say, and this has been increasingly freaking me out, is it seems like Amazon is, it's increasingly encroaching into our homes. We have Amazon Alexas and they have Amazon glasses and Amazon everything. And obviously not just Amazon, there's Google home products and all this stuff too. And, I'm not trying to get too Orwellian or anything, but I can't help but, see this not ending well, with all the data collection. And it just seems like more consumer rights are being sacrificed. People have less understanding of, what exactly rights they're signing away when they hit, accept the terms and service. I know this isn't necessarily your field, but do you have anything to say about the fact that how Amazon is really, just increasingly more so in our lives, and these billionaire oligarchs have more and more sway and control and collection over our data?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's about. It's power and greed, monopoly, like you said. I don't know if you've seen that they tried to hire an intelligence analyst to get, to basically spy on workers. It's disgusting. That's what they do. They want to be invasive. They want to invade your privacy, collect your personal data. I don't support anything that they have, any type of products. I got rid of all of them, the Amazon Echoes and things like that, because it's been known facts that they record conversations. You can imagine what type of information they're trying to withhold for whatever reason. But, they do fund the police. They fund ICE. So you got to keep all this in consideration. Like, this company works with intelligence agencies and police agencies across the nation. And, by them having your information, if you're subject to doing something wrong, or even if you're not doing anything wrong, they could put a target on you for whatever reason. If you're an immigrant, they could try to deport you without you knowing that it's your actual employer that's setting that up. It's a lot of dangerous things they could do with your information. So, me, myself, I'm in an odd position myself. I'm going up against the company, and they very much follow every single thing I do on social media. Known facts that they definitely are monitoring my Twitter page and whatever have you when it comes to social media. But we just got to be careful and be mindful of what we're doing and what we're getting in bed with when we deal with this company. This company is continue to grow and continue to to put together things like an intelligence analyst where they're collecting this data. So what we can do is just fight back as a community. Our community, we have to take care of ourselves. As workers, we have to take care of ourselves. We can't rely on the 1%, the billionaires to do that for us.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. One other thing I wanted to ask you about is just the People's Convention, which you were recently featured at alongside, so many leaders, honestly, of the progressive political movement, from Senator Nina Turner to Dr. Cornel West, people like Marianne Williamson, local, leaders across the country, working people. It was one of the most, inspiring and optimistic, moments that I felt, at least definitely since the Wrap of the Bernie campaign. I know that myself and a lot of other people were hoping that, we would have Bernie Sanders to cheer on as kind of the people's champion in this election, at least some optimism. And it kind of seems like, that didn't happen, but maybe that the People's Party is going to be able to fill that void and hopefully run someone in 2024 to try to break up this, corporate monopolistic mess we found ourselves in. Just wanted to ask you how you got involved with the People's Party and what it was like, speaking alongside so many of these impressive, inspiring leaders.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny because People's Party, I know I've done something with them in the past. It's been probably a while. I've done so many interviews and webinars and town halls. I forget how many people I work with. But originally, I wasn't on the panel. It was only Nina Turner, Cornel West, Ryan Knight, a few others, Marianne Williamson. And I asked to be a part of it. I reached out to Nick Bronner, and he was happy. He was more than happy that I did that, And then it seemed like a trickle effect. After I reached out, they started adding a lot more speakers, and it grew into what it became. And yeah, that's just how I became a part of it. I reached out to them because I very much have the same type of visions as well, as far as a third party, something that's corporate free money as well, free of money as well, something that the community and people, workers, can all relate to. And that's just what I'm about. We all know the Democrats, they do a lot of lip service. Republicans, we all know that's not the way to go with this administration. So this is a breath of fresh air, like you said, something new, something that's going to give us hope for the future after Bernie Sanders. I think Bernie just put together a foundation, and it's like passing the torch on to the younger generation. So we're just trying to use this opportunity to make sure we continue that message and continue to grow as people. So when it comes time to vote in, midway 2021, 22, prepare ourselves for 2024. We're putting pressure on Biden and Harris. Like, listen, we'll get you the opportunity, but you will be held accountable. And if you're not going to be representing the people, then you're out of there. We don't have time to waste anymore. This is pretty much life or death. We don't know what the world is looking like. It's very gray right now in the future. Even with the upcoming election, it's very gray. It's a scary situation to be in. So all we got to do is prepare. And that's what I think the People's Party is about, is preparation. And I'm just trying to be a catalyst for that.
Would you ever consider getting involved in politics or running as a candidate yourself, or are you thinking about mostly staying in the activist lane?
It has been put on in front of me. A lot of people would like to see me get into it eventually, and I'm not going to rule it out yet. Right now, I have a mission to complete with my activism, so I'm going to try to focus on that. But if it comes down to it, further down the line, I would try if it's the right thing to do. I don't have no problem being a leader. I like to lead people. I like to do what's right for people. I always said it's never about me. It's bigger than me. And if I have a good, strong base and people feel like I'm the right candidate, eventually, maybe further down the line, it may happen. I won't rule it out.
Looking forward to that. One last question I had for you is, we recently heard some renewed calls, some energy around the concept of a general strike. And this seems to come up every once in a while. And this time, there were plans to do it on September 1st, but obviously that day came and went. No serious action was taken, at least no visible action that was covered by the press, unfortunately. As a strike organizer yourself and an activist, what have you found to be the most effective methods of organizing? And do you have any hope for a general strike? Is that something that's even remotely possible could happen in this country?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a general strike like everybody else. When it comes to general strike, I feel like whenever we try to do it, our timing is just wrong. We try to do it and then another crisis happens. Another protester gets shot and killed. Something that always takes the media attention away from what we're trying to do as organizers. And then you have your right wingers and your white supremacists that manipulate things. It's a lot. It's a lot of intangibles when it comes to these things. I learned that quickly. The best method I say that works is actually just continue to get out there in the streets. Lead by example. That's just how I do it. People see that I'm in the streets. If I'm going somewhere, I'm going to be in the streets wherever I go. If I go to, let's just say, if I go to Washington like I was last weekend, I was in the streets the entire time. They see me out there, they interact. I was able to gain a lot of supporters just by doing that. 7 million views just by setting for Guillotine. So things like that. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're continue to do it. Give up. And get out there in the streets. Like I was just going to talk about it and be about it at the same time. That's the biggest way we can continue to gain momentum, and then hopefully one of these days or one of these months, because I think we do it once a month. We're trying to do it on the first of every month. One of these months will be successful, and once we get enough people behind us, I believe we can actually absolutely pull it off. What I'm doing right now, I could tell you now, as far as Amazon, they have Prime Day coming up in October, October 5th. And right now, I'm preparing for us to boycott on that day and calling for workers to call out on that day to hinder their operations. So within this next week, you're going to see information on my social media about how to boycott, get involved, take a strike against the company, cancel your Prime, and join us in solidarity if you're in LA, because I'm going to Jeff Bezos' mansion in LA on October.
You bringing that guillotine again?
Nah, I won't be able to do that because it's a lot of pieces. It's kind of heavy, and I can carry it on the flight. I'm in the East Coast, so.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That would be a little bit sketchy putting that through security.
I will reach out. Maybe some local people may have built one. We had to actually put that together. Thank you for the team that put that together. If we have an opportunity to get one over there, I'll definitely set it up for sure.
Yeah, that was one of the most just visually powerful protests that I think could be imagined. And I mean, despite the fact that the liberal media wanted to, get their, all upset about this is a threat of violence. No, it was clearly, a demonstration, and with some humor in it too. And I think that was about the most effective possible visual symbol that could have been possibly chosen to put outside the man's house. So I just want to thank you so much for your activism, what you're doing, the work you're doing to change this conversation in this country and educate and awaken people to the realities of not just Amazon, but, the inequalities and oppressive nature of corporate capitalism as it affects our communities and increasingly infects our daily life. It couldn't be more important, and I fear that so many people are just sleeping as this, nightmare washes over them. Thank you so much for joining me today, Chris. Is there anything else you want to say? Anywhere people can find out more about you? Any websites, places to donate, anything like that?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me too, brother. Appreciate this. And you can follow me on Twitter, shut_down Amazon, on Instagram, Chris.Smalls_. We have a website, TCOEW, once again, TCOEW.org. On our website, you'll find all our social media handles at TCOEW on Twitter, at TCOEW on Instagram. We also have a Facebook as well. Follow us, support us. You can donate to my GoFundMe. That's on my Twitter page and Instagram page. This money is being used to help workers all over the country, and also used to help us organize as well. So please help and support us and join us in solidarity.
Yeah, those links are going to be in the description box below for any listeners who want to donate to the cause or check out anything more about Chris Smalls. So thanks so much for joining me today, man. Have a good one.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it.